This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning everybody. Welcome to cloudy weather here in Djuma Private Game Reserve, sitting here on a dam wall, Gari Dam. So welcome aboard to your very own safari through African bush. Good morning once again everybody. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve in a very cloudy day this morning where we started. Kind of like, was a bit of a drizzling way. We think it might actually be like this the whole day. As you can see, the water park, since they are named after the way they do, they always prefer water to be around the water hole. Even looks like it's only one. It could be that there's more around here where now we can't see them all. But it's the way it is. Somebody has to benefit somehow. Where cloudy brings rains, where animals will be healthy otherwise. My name is Andrew. On camera I have Simon this morning. This is how we're going to be taking you to the safari. Indeed, it's a very quiet day though. Nobody actually out there yet, but we found out because our aim is to look if the Pride of Lions, since they crossed south yesterday or afternoon, and if they ever come back north, because then the cloud died down a bit, or not a cloud but the wind, which was pushing them to move south all the time. The temperature of the day, 19 degrees Celsius and 66 Fahrenheit. But remember to talk to us. We're coming to you live from a few locations from Africa. Under the age, you can still use kids questions at worldearth.tv. Also on Twitter, where hashtag worldearth. Also on YouTube channel at FC and worldearth.tv and Explorer. But also you can go to World Earth, a website, and sign up. From there, then you go over to a live page. That's where you're gonna submit your questions and comments. We would like to hear from you this morning as we're taking you live through this woodland. Cats, I know for sure. We'll be looking for them specifically. Well, you're right. Cloudy day. It's actually awesome. That is, it's bringing a lot of change. Only the change, not only for us, but mainly specifically for the animals. Because of course, when it's green, and it happens, this green is going to end up somewhere just at the beginning of the winter. And that's where then from there, the whole of winter is going to take places, but everything is going to go very much browny, once the wind takes places, or colder sections. So I'm going to continue with my search on the east, check the border back there, see if we found anything. So let's see Lorraine out there.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to an active hyena den. Slightly strange things going on, I will explain in just a moment, but my name is Lauren and I do have Davy on camera once again. We have Hart here, suckling her too, which is normal, but at the entrance, that's not normal. It's either Swazi or Ndebele. Turn around, let me see your spot pattern. Just generally causing havoc at the entrance. Plugging, as we call it, putting their bottom there. And, well, not allowing the cups to come out. But luckily, there's another entrance on the other side. So if they do really want to come out, they can. We've got Ngwazi and Shimbulu. Can't see Corky's daughter. And no sign of June. Ah, it's Swazi. Of course it was Swazi. Why did I think otherwise? Of course it was Swazi. Why did I think otherwise? He's obviously watched the adult females sit in the entrance like that and think that that's what he should do. But Swazi, you don't have cubs. No. I know you play with them, but they're not yours. I don't know why he was sitting like that in the den. He's obviously very... See how tender that is between Hart and Swazi? The new cub's out, Davy. This is June's cub. Being very, very brave because June is not here. Hello. Is this your first time seeing the cub, Dav? Isn't it sweet?
So sweet.
So sweet. Just repositioning because everybody's coming to say hello. Got to keep your eye on all these hyenas. Swazi, hey, no. You are far too big to be doing stuff like that. No. My goodness. Swazi has no boundaries. Now, Shimbulu's at the car as well. I'm trying to look at Shimbulu's limp. I don't think he's limping anymore. Donna, you're asking, is Ribbon getting better? Good question. The last time I saw her was when we were bumbling along the road and she was lying in the middle of the roads. And she didn't look great. And then we saw her again crossing into Little Gowrie. I haven't seen her since then. But let's just look at little Shimbulu here. This is Shimbulu Davy, and you see he's walking absolutely, okay, not 100% on that back right leg. But he's walking on it. See, it's not as swollen anymore. So they bounce back. They're really resilient, and I think Ribbon's going to do the exact same. She's just going to stay quiet for a little while, get some food, and then I really do think Ribbon will be fine, Donna, but I can't actually say. I've not seen her. So hopefully she'll appear at the den. But at least that's one weight off our mind with the fact that Shimbulu seems to be absolutely fine. Everyone's given Hart a lot of love here. Now, the way they treat Swazi in comparison to Ndebele is it's polar opposites. And that's absolutely fascinating because Swazi and Ndebele are twins. They're pretty much the exact same size. They look the same, but obviously Swazi's a boy and Ndebele's a girl. Now, they accept him. Look at him. He was sitting in the entrance. He's grooming the cubs, preparing for motherhood. And Ndebele, they would chase away. The tails would be up. It would actually be quite aggressive. There would be an act of dominance, and they would chase her off from the den side. I think that's really, really fascinating, but they're fully welcoming of Swazi. He's like the babysitter that you don't have to pay for. And he entertains the children for free. Courtney, I agree, he's such a character. I don't know why he was sitting in the entrance like that. I think he was trying to play with the little one. Oh, Courtney, he heard you. Look, he's doing a little pose for you. Yes, he's very much a character. Oh, there you go, Courtney. He could disperse at any time now, though. He's at that age where males do tend to disperse. So he's obviously not. He's very much with his NATO clan. But he really could disperse to another clan at any moment. He could also decide to never disperse. But if he does, he would be in a very small percentage of males that don't disperse, that stay in their natal clan forever. He was high ranked as a cub. His mother was high ranked. So I wonder, because he's male, if he's just sort of held on to that status. And all the females are very welcoming. They really rarely get angry at Swazi. I don't know why he's lying in that entrance lab. Maybe it's nice and warm. It's a chilly, drizzly morning, as you can all see. Shimbulu's got a little bit of a limp. Can you just zoom in on the left one's back right, Davi? I think it's marginally swollen, but you're better, aren't you, Shimbulu? We still don't know what happened, but it was quite a severe limp. Very swollen. Nope, just because we're talking about you does not mean you come and eat my earpiece. Illinois, there are only 5 adults. You've got Ribbon, Intima, Heart, June, and Corky at this stage that are sort of definitely adults. Indabele, not really classified as a sexually mature adult yet. So it would be, if they broke away from Ribbon, it would absolutely decimate this clan. It's a very small clan. There's much bigger clans around, and I don't think a small number of females, like 5 or even 2 or 3, could really thrive on their own. They do need each other, even if there's some internal dispute. And this clan has been through a lot of upheaval, a lot of turmoil, and I really think it would benefit them for some stability. You've got Ribbon at the top as we know it, and then Intima underneath. So Intima gives Ribbon strength. The fact that she's got a strong older daughter will help Ribbon hold on to this position. So any more upheaval, I really don't think would benefit the Juma clan. They need a matriarch. It's a social structure that requires a female leader. Now, I know many of you have been speculating about Heart. She's very dominant. But I think it would be impossible to say at this stage if there's been any change. Matriarchal overthrows are really not that common, or at least recorded in science or literature. Maybe they're more common than we realise, but I would be very surprised if there was another matriarchal sort of overthrow in the Juma clan so soon after the other one. Swazi, you can't fit in there. I know how disappointing it is, but you're not going to get inside there. But yes, Ribbon's injury, we don't know how it happened. We don't know what happened. So at this stage, we're only speculating. Kerry, you're asking how many cubs are there in the den. Well, believe it or not, this tiny small mound, Davi and I were just talking about this. It's not large from the outside, but I think it's a bit like an iceberg when you can only see sort of 1/3 of it. It'll be much larger underneath, but there are 6. You've got Ribbons 2 that we can see right now, Shimbulu and Ngwazi. And then you've got Hearts 2 that you can also see right now, very sleepy with Mama Heart. Then you have Corky's daughter, and you have June's tiny little brown bear that we got glimpses of earlier. So there are 6 in total. We also feel that Intima could be the next one to give birth if she hasn't already, but they would be far too young to be at the communal den. Look how boisterous they are. It's not that any other hyena would purposely hurt a cub. But if you look at Swazi, he's big. He doesn't realize how big he is. He's boisterous and he just wants to play. So he could end up doing a lot of damage to a very, very small cub without meaning it. So normally the small ones are kept in a natal den. But if Ntima really has given birth, there could be new additions in the next month or so. So there are 6 in this den, which just really blows my mind. They've been using this den for a long time, longer than I ever anticipated they would. This is Philemon's den number 3. Look at that little one. Swazi is just obsessed with this little one. But although hyenas can be aggressive to one another, they need each other. I didn't catch that name, but you're saying cute little thing popping up there. Flask.
I think so.
Flask. Hello. Yes, very cute, but it's getting brave. Normally when they're smaller, they only come out when they hear Mum calling. Mum will put her head in the entrance and make a really low call. And that's sort of telling the cub, come out, Mum's here. It's time for food. The milk bar's open. But this little one's getting very, very brave. And of course, as long as there's an adult here, both Hart and Swazi are here. But Mom is not. So the communal den's really important for a hyena clan. It allows them to come and socialize. You can't have a complex social structure without any socialization. They have to socialize. Yes, there's a hierarchy, but as long as everyone maintains their position and respects each other, then the hierarchy will stay in place and everyone can just get along. So I'm going to continue to watch all the antics of this den and hopefully we can stay here a little bit longer.
Have you been watching Wild Earth and dreamt of being right there on safari with one of the guides? Well, now you can. Wild Earth is offering you a chance to buy a ticket to dream. You or a friend can hop on board a live Wild Earth show and join our guide on safari. The ticket is redeemable at any of our locations, anytime in the future. Only a limited number of tickets are available, so don't wait. Get your ticket now and start dreaming. Terms and conditions apply.
We've seen these Ellies really chase wild dogs before. Let's get into spot. There we go, here it comes. Look at that, isn't that amazing?
Expect the unexpected here on Wild Earth daily.
This is Rusty. He's my favorite vehicle and we've been through all the good times here in the bush. Now, if you feel a connection to Djuma Game Reserve like I do, then we have a fantastic opportunity for you. You can have your name engraved on a brushed metal plaque just like this one, and we will attach it to Rusty so you can always be with us on safari in spirit. We will even send you a digital photograph once your plaque is mounted on Rusty. Spaces are limited, so grab your spot now.
My name is Taylor McCurdy and I work for Eco Training. I love hearing from all of the viewers. However, I particularly enjoy those of you who have been watching for a few years. Your questions are just so advanced and they really get me thinking. If you'd like to ask a question on Wild Earth, you need to register on our website. Once you've done that, head to the live safari page and submit your questions below the live feed.
Well, a very good morning to everybody on this very chilly morning here at Tshwane. Only about 18 degrees this morning. That's about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. And a beautiful, beautiful morning it is. Good morning, everybody. My name is Carl and behind camera is Craig. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful and fantastic morning here on Tshwane Kalahari. We are moving south. We are heading to a pan, just about 200 meters south of our
of our location now, and we are going to be looking for 2 male cheetah. We have heard a story yesterday where these cheetah cornered a female with her sub-adult cubs, or sub-adult offspring, and the persistence that males have through that period where we think she could be an estrus, they are very persistent. So we're going to try and find them this morning and hopefully find her in the mix of things, and hopefully we can have some very exciting wildlife behavior. And then along the lines, we're going to be looking for everything else as well. But those 2 cheetah would definitely be a very, very nice cherry on top of the cake for this morning. We had some beautiful rain yesterday afternoon. It rained from about 11 o'clock right through until about 8:30 last night. Just a constant drizzle which really soaks up into the soil. And the cloud cover allows that soil or that moisture to be retained within the soil itself for a bit longer, obviously eliminating evaporation. But just creates this beautiful, soft feeling for today. Clouds moving by. It's not too much of a dawn course this morning. Everybody's still a bit chilly, I think, still sleeping. Daniel, good morning. How big is the cheetah population on Tswalu? So by rough estimation, my past 4 years working here on this beautiful and wonderful land, by rough estimate I can just roughly count over 30 different individuals. There are individuals that we don't see because of their behavior, so certain individuals are a little bit more relaxed with our presence, and then some individuals are extremely wild. So well over 30 different individuals. There is a lot of cheetah on Tswalu. The population is great, and obviously the habitat and the environment is perfect to sustain cheetah and for them to thrive without any negative disturbance. So very healthy population, let me leave it at that there. And hopefully we can see a portion of that healthy population this morning. So we're going to be utilizing the road, obviously with the rain that fell yesterday. We're going to have a very, very short window from last night to now where an animal would walk. So if we find tracks and we just look at the actual physical appearance of them, you would find that after the rain last night, you would find that tracks would be from about 8 o'clock, whereas cheetah wouldn't have moved under the cover of darkness last night because of how dark it would have been. So once we find tracks, we know that the tracks are within a period of like 2-3 hours. So to follow up on these animals is going to be very easy. So utilizing the road first is see where an animal has crossed, and then from there we have direction to find these wonderful cats. Obviously, tracking is a very, very important tool, not only used by guides and trackers, but we would have used back in the day as well to physically follow animals for our nourishment. So utilizing this wonderful and ancient art is such a privilege, especially here on Tswalu. But for now, we're going to continue our search, but we're going to send you over to Lauren for a short bit.
Good luck in your search, Kyle. Hart got a little bit annoyed at Swazi there. She stood up as if to say, right, okay, enough now. Her belly is so large. But see, they're having a lovely tender moment now. Oh, imagine the odour. Swazi's just checking she's got nothing stuck in her teeth because she's definitely had a meal. Hart is huge. I wonder what she had last night. I wonder. The play looks very, very rough. I wonder where Corky's daughter is because she absolutely loves rough play with Swazi. I'm not sure Ribbon's boys are enjoying it or not. They're at that age where their bodies look extremely awkward. They've got long, sort of really long, gangly legs and a small, short body. Maybe they haven't seen Mom in a few days as well. Oh, dearie me. What is he doing? He's just pushing his bum against... I think it's Ngwazi there. I really wish I could narrate exactly what's happening here, but I can't. I think you're squashing him. Oh no, that was Shimbulu. This is Ngwazi coming around the corner to find out what's going on. You see what I mean about their awkward bodies? If you look at Ngwazi, it's very awkward. They're at that sort of teenage stage, if you like. They've definitely got the hyena shape, but it looks very awkward. Shimbulu is not happy with you, Swazi. Sorry, I'll turn my radio down. Irish rebel. I agree. Looks like they've been eating well. Absolutely. And of course it's summer. So not only are there frogs hopping around and small lizards running around the grass, there's lots of insects. And we actually watched the clan the other night, especially Corky's daughter, eating all the alates that were streaming out of this very mound. And although the alates are small, if you eat a lot of them, they're packed with protein and all sorts of delicious fatty acids and all sorts. And she was snacking quite heavily on the alates. Then, of course, they're also drinking Mom's milk. So all the cubs look very, very healthy. We saw Corky yesterday, so we know that her daughter is also well fed. Swazi, it's time to sleep now. That was absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea what's happening over at the Dentrons, but I know that it's entertaining. That was utterly ridiculous, Swazi. What are you doing? Batalier, you're asking, would the den have water in it? If you mean a supply for them to drink, I don't think so, no. But if you mean from the rain, it's probably a little bit moist inside. I would imagine some rainwater would filter through. If you actually look at the den, there's lots of holes. Oh, the little cubs. Swazi, I'm not sure. You need to be careful. You could get bitten. But yes, there's lots of holes. It's very porous. The walls are very porous anyway. That's how a termite mound is designed, to allow sort of circulation of air. There's lots of chimneys and tunnels. So I imagine some rainwater absolutely would filter through. But I don't think it would be a lot. I don't think there would be big puddles inside. Therefore, it could risk flooding. And I think this den is a lot deeper than we could ever imagine. And therefore, most likely, the moisture would just be absorbed by the soil. But I do think there would be a little bit water inside. And luckily there's lots of puddles and pans around. So we saw Hart take her pair, or Andrew did, on a little mission the other day, and I think it was just a little walk and to go and get water. Oh. I think Swazi's practicing for when he has cubs. I don't think he realises he's not going to ever have cubs of his own. Or at least give birth to them. I think this little one just wants to come out and play. Oh, oh. Imagine trying to come out and play and you've got Swazi to deal with. Okay, I'm definitely going to sit here a little bit longer. It's far too entertaining. But we are going to send you guys across to Pinda to say good morning.
Good morning and welcome to And Beyond Pinda. We have just come across this beautiful female leopard. Really, really beautiful. Just hiding behind this bush here. You can see her tail just slowly moving from side to side. We drove past a herd of impala earlier, and that's what she seems to have her eye on. Really, really beautiful, really lucky. We've got some wonderful weather here this morning, nice and cool. So it's perfect weather for her to do a bit of hunting, to keep moving around a little bit, and keep quite active. My name's Pete, and behind the camera we have Odie. And this morning we're really fortunate to have come across this leopard. We were trying hard last night, and yeah, we finally come across her. Really lucky. Look at how she's just scanning. Those beautiful white dots behind her ears just really stick out right now. You can see, if you look carefully on her neck, it looks like she's been, I don't know, there's a little bit of dirt there, a little bit of mud. Really, really lucky. Look how she's carefully just sitting there watching. Yeah, thanks, Janet. She is beautiful. You can see she's just got that deep stare. And look, while she looks back at us, you can see those beautiful eyes as well. No problem. Look at those shoulder blades. If you look at her stomach as well, that are just in front of her back legs, she looks like, yeah, she hasn't eaten in a little while, and she could definitely do with a meal. I'm just gonna loop around quickly and see from the other side. How's it?
South of Imagine Down. Looks like you're into Drake. We're just trying to establish where you're from. Along Dinar and then along Jackal. Copied.
Station South just located a female leopard. There's one here.
There's two, so you've also just located. Can you go to that position?
Copy, it's on the boundary road just to the east of Old Main Gate.
Okay, copy.
AC, that's a good question. Just look at her now, it looks like the Nyoni female. I'll get a better look as soon as we loop around. She seems to have just gone behind the bush again and crossing over the road, so we're just going to follow her around. Number of Puna Station, Zuki East. As a first, Brendan as a second. You can see she's just moving now slowly through this bush here. Slowly making her way through. It's getting quite thick. I'm just gonna, might be able to see her just slowly moving. Okay, so we're gonna try and stick with her, and we're gonna send you over to Andrew, who's also got a leopard.
Thank you very much. Well, we got us Boy the leopard over here. We came back to the very same spot as yesterday afternoon. Those of you who have joined us yesterday afternoon, and she's still same position, but we cannot see the meat right now because she had a meat like yesterday afternoon. And I check all branches over here. Not that I can see right now. It could be is in a place that we cannot see. But it's cool that, you know, she's just taking it easy. Sleeping in there, probably balancing. So we have to come far southeast for this sighting over here. And then we're so lucky because sometimes it's actually a busy area where you don't spend much time with the sighting. But for now, it looks like just us. We may have a company maybe later on. So it happens maybe there's a little bit of a leftover. And then if it's that the case, then she will stick around until everything is done, finished, and then she will move off. Because she had a work to do. It's still drizzling out here. Most of these leopard scent mark, it's more likely to be washed off. For that, they have to go again over and over, same place where the territory boundaries reactivate those marking, scent marking, by chemical urination. It's so peaceful. She's not disturbed. And then what I had yesterday afternoon was also a hyena that was running around in the ground here, hoping for anything that falls from that height. Remain of the kill or bones, that hyena would take it. But not that I can see right now. The hyena, they're one of the animals that they wait for too long for something to happen. Maybe they could be lying where we can't see them. So again, this is amarula trees, which are always loved by leopards, specifically for the reason that it's so easy for them to carry their prey up in these trees very quickly when they do that, because the bark itself is very soft. They were able to use these very sharpening claws as they climb up, hold up and straight up there very quickly and host their prey up in these trees. And they'll spend time feeding on it, coming down for drinks, always get up there. Dr. Rocky Bobo, they're very comfortable, you're right. I agree with you, you know, there's no sign of any movement there of this animal. So it's very comfortable, especially that branch. It looks like it suits the position that she needs the most. I know now she's looking away from us, but maybe she'll turn her head around towards us and that we can able to see her face again. All this success that happened, because this kill, I think it's been here for probably 2 days, and this is when, day before yesterday, when the rain started to pour down and it was kind of windy, picking up too much. And they had a lot of chances for, as a cat, leopard, also lion, when they have opportunity to kill. And this is when they need, when it's windy. They don't need to waste a lot of energy, you know, crawling close to the prey species. They can just run into that area because bush is making so much of noises. Animal species, they confuse. They won't listen or even hear the footstep of this animal, or they hardly actually hear footstep for leopard actually. So I'm not sure how long she's been up there. Where the grass is wet for sure, she won't prefer being on the ground. So she'll probably stay there. And whenever she come down, maybe it's a situation where she want to move or show us where the position of the kill now. It was not actually fully grown impala, it was a baby impala. Those age of those born November, December, the beginning of December, so they're still too young. And the leopard loves so much of these baby because the meat is soft. They're very soft. Can go through the skin, so they pluck fur off before the feed, and the soft bone will be taken, more likely finding nothing left. If it's still a tiny baby thing, hoofs will be chowed as well. So beautiful marking they got there. And the whole beautiful tail that is hanging. And now hunt by technique, so hunting methods. They prefer bushy area, where in sands, specifically whole entire Kruger Park, it's quite a lot of rivers, Because drainage line system is thicker biomes where leopards love the most. Of course, it is a savanna area, but it's tall grasses area. You have, well, quite a few open area, but not that huge open area like you see in most countries of game reserve somewhere else. Here it's all covered with these trees, Morula trees, Combretum species of trees as well. So I'm gonna stay put here. Hopefully she'll look at us. I'm gonna be sending you over to Lauren.
Well done, Andrew, on your leopard. Now, it's still all fun and games at the den, at least for Swazi. He's still at the den entrance, playing with this youngster. But he'll be in trouble if June comes. Now, I'm beginning to wonder if Corky's daughter, she's either inside with Ngwazi and Shimbulu, who have given up and have gone back inside to a warm, cosy bed, or she could actually be just off in the distance with Mum. It's very possible that Corky's came here, and because of Hart's presence and Hart's dominant behaviour, she could just be off in the distance with her daughter. Sometimes we come here and we think it's not active, but very often the adults are just off in the thicket with their youngsters. Okay, are we bored of that game? Look at that little head popping out of. Was that fun for you? Where's Swazi gone? Has he just left you? Oh, no, we're going back inside. It's far too dangerous outside. And Swazi's now going to annoy the others. No one wants to play this morning. How disappointing. We're going to lick Hart's milk. Not sure. Not sure. Love it. It's a tricky question. Nothing like wild dogs. Really, wild dogs are absolutely stunning creatures, but their smell is one of the strongest smells that I can identify out here in the bush. It's very, very strong urine smell. Hyenas, I don't know if Davi will agree with me, probably not, but I think it's quite a gentle smell. The cubs smell very milky, mixed in with a little bit of a I'm lost for words here, I'm not sure. I really don't think hyenas smell bad. Yes, if they've got a gassy tummy or if they've just been feeding it a carcass, of course. But just in a scenario like this, really, the odour's not bad at all. Lions also don't smell too bad. It's lion scat that smells awful. Would you agree, Davi?
I think lions are stinky, hyenas are not.
Oh, okay. From the very mouth of Davi himself, lions are stinkier. Hyenas, not so much. People think that hyenas would smell really bad, but the den doesn't smell. It does have a unique odour to it. You can smell the cubs. Bless you. But it's really not bad, not sure. Okay, let's go with a little bit of a milky smell, like, a young puppy milky smell. Wet dog and an old stale piece of cheese mixed in together very faintly. Could possibly describe hyenas. Whereas wild dogs, I've found wild dogs on countless occasions just by my nose. That's how strong the smell is. That's how hyenas are able to follow them to the exact location purely by scent. And it's a very sour, stale, acidic urine smell that comes from dogs. Leopards, I never get a bad smell from leopards. Of course, they're scat smells. But lions can be very, very stinky, especially when they've been feeding on a carcass. And that's to the human nostril. I can only begin to imagine what these species smell like to each other. Swazi, you really need to sleep. Okay, I'm going to continue to stay here a little bit longer and enjoy the antics of Swazi.
Thank you very much, Lauren. So we're still here. Now we're just trying to reposition to take another angle here. And we just discovered that there's still a little bit of a skin hanging in there. And not much that left for sure. But you're probably going to finish it by midday, looks like it. And she's still there. This is where she was always facing. That's why we couldn't see her face, because she was always looking western side of direction, where we were on the eastern side. There's already one vehicle that joined us. But yeah, we can see her face. She's probably aware of the movement we're doing here, so, but it's not a threat for her. So she's probably gonna go anytime in that little bit of skin that is hanging and finish it off. And whether it's midday, I don't know when last she actually ate there. But I'm sure we'll find out while we're still around. And just gonna take time here, see if she ever go feed while we're around.
Good morning, everyone. From the elephants to you. The wind has died down and it's a glorious, cool summer's morning. Elephants just coming down to the Bobo Dam to have a drink. As you can see, there's an interesting tuskless female with her two youngsters, just separated off from a whole bunch of other elephants that included a bunch of fairly big bulls. I'm sure they are causing her a bit of trouble, so she's taken her and her youngsters a bit away from the trouble in order to drink peacefully. Good morning, everyone. My name's Mike Anderson. Behind the camera is Gert, and you're joining us at Eco-Training's Pridelands Conservancy, where we've been doing a bit of a drive around looking for this and that. And as we came to the dam, just a lot of elephant activity. This is the second herd that's coming, and now there's a big bull coming just behind me as well, which I just noticed now. Hope he doesn't cause us any trouble. We've got that sort of a, how can I say, swagger that bulls sometimes get when they come into water or they want to meet up with some females. See how he's bobbing his head like that? See an elephant doing that walking towards your car, you should be ready for an investigation, because sometimes they're showing off. Now there's a lot of young bulls at the waterhole, and there's been lots of females that have just left. It's a good time for them to socialize. So this elephant might not have seen the others for a couple of days. Now it's ready to have a catch-up. This is a rather large bull, bigger than any of the others that I've seen at the waterhole so far. I've seen quite a few of the younger bulls interested in the females. So there might be at least one female that's in estrus here, which is maybe what's attracting all these male elephants to the waterhole. It's quite an impressive male, actually. He's got a thick set of tusks, not particularly long, nice and thick and broad, quite symmetrical as well. Oh, just working his way over the roots there. There you go. That's a huge elephant, actually. If I were to stand next to that elephant, I would probably only go maybe the top of my head almost up to where the base of its tail is, not even quite. Big elephant. Pretty impressive. Sprightly for such a big guy. Went up that wall like it was nothing. Heading straight towards that female and her two youngsters. This could get interesting. I wonder how those youngsters will react when they see this bigger elephant walking quickly towards them. Especially now that I can't see the mother. I think she's actually gone down the other side of the earthen mound there. Let's see the interaction between this tiny youngster, who looks like it's only maybe about 3 years old. You just see the tips of tusks just poking out from beneath its trunk there. It's an indication that it might be around 3. Oh, a brave little elephant. Remember, elephants can communicate over long distances, so even though this elephant might not have seen the others for a while, it's probably been communicating with them. As long as it was anywhere on tidelands, it could probably hear them. It's going straight towards the other side of the waterhole where there's another small group of elephants. I wonder if it actually wants to get to the mud. It's a nice muddy patch there that elephants often mud wallow at. Although it's not a very hot day at the moment, it might get warmer later. There where it's walking right now is a very dusty patch. After a good swim in a mud wallow, elephants will often go there to dust bathe. Just to throw nice loose dust on their body, which helps them to dry that outer layer of mud, encasing any parasites. They can now scratch against the tree to loosen any dead skin. It's a full spot treatment. Oh, the baby on the wall now is deciding to have a bit of a sleep. What is going on there? So these two youngsters, one of them was lying down. I don't know if it just slipped over or what it was doing. Oh, this one's about to do some yoga. I think they call that sun worship. Oh, that's so cute. JP, that's probably, well, we see them doing stuff like this. You see these two youngsters playing, pushing each other, having a good time. And I think playfulness is quite often related to intelligence. Now, elephants have a very big brain, highly intelligent animals, and so they need stimulation constantly. It's not enough to simply go through the motions, instinctively eating and drinking. They need to be stimulated, so they communicate a lot over long distances, and they have to touch and feel and smell each other. And then young animals of many species are very playful, getting bursts of energy and wanting to run around. And they're social animals as well, so the more social animal, the more playful they usually are. If you've ever watched Pride of Lions or a pack of wild dogs, you'll see they often jump on each other and tumble and play. And with those animals, play is often also associated with building skills that they would need for hunting, pouncing, chasing, stalking, that kind of stuff. But with elephants, I think it's purely a social bonding type of situation. Watch this one, this another young elephant now pressing its head, heading towards those two youngsters, but pressing its head against a leadwood. I wondered if it was maybe going to have a bit of a scratch, but it seems to have stopped. Well, we've seen a lot of elephants coming to the waterhole, especially when it was very, very hot, and pressing their foreheads against the trees around here. And I spoke to a friend of mine who's a vet, and she said that is quite often the case if they've got a headache. Animals pressing their heads against objects, trying to soothe their head. Watch this one as it climbs over that fallen log. A little bit awkward, a bit stuck. No, all good. This is not a very big elephant, so to step over that log, it's not so easy. It's a bit of a process, but it's made it. It's quite a cold morning, and the last couple of days have been quite cold, so I'm sure the water temperature is also starting to dip. So not particularly pleasant for them to go in the water, maybe. Oh, it's... Look at that. I think a good old scratch on the earthen wall. I think there's probably easier ways to do that, but that'll work. Actually looks... Yeah, that'll do. Satisfied. Let's see now, are they going to go in the water itself? No, just going to have a bit of a drink. That's so interesting. It walked all the way over that log just to scratch on that one bit of dirt and then climb back over the log. Yeah, perhaps not so intelligent after all. Kidding. They're definitely the most intelligent of all the African animals, except maybe baboons and some of the primates in Central West Africa. See, all the primates are very intelligent. So we're going to sit around here and just wait to see if other elephants turn up and watch what this small family does. In the meantime, we'll send you over to Ingala.
So a warm welcome to a beautiful day here at Ambion Ingala. And this morning we had a few millimeters of rain, and after it cleared off, we set to come back to this leopard we had last night, and we were able to find the female that we saw yesterday, and she's lying down in the tall grass at the moment, so you can only see a bit of her ear and some of her back. So I'm Nikki, I'm going to be your ranger for this morning, and on camera with me we have BK. So as we mentioned, today is a nice overcast day. It might be because of that this female has come down and just decided to find a place that is a bit more sheltered out of the wind and the rain, to come and have a lie down. And eventually from here on, there's still a lot of meat on that carcass left, so she might eventually go back up to that tree. So we'll have to stick with her for some time and hopefully, see if she'll go back to the carcass. Earlier on, I just saw her lifting her head, and it might be because there was some movement. There's some francolins moving in the grass, and she's probably just hearing the movement in the grass. I do enjoy this leopard. She often has this thing that whenever we drive past, she'll go and crouch down as if she's playing hide and seek. And as soon as you spot her, then all of a sudden she just lifts her head as if to say, oh, the game's done, they've seen me, so let me carry on. Even driving around and seeing the carcass, seeing her moving, and as we drove around to try and see if we can get another view of her, she just crouched down, like as low as she possibly could so that we didn't see her. As soon as we spotted her, she lifted her head and now you can see she's very relaxed. So it's a very interesting individual. But beautiful, beautiful leopard. I love it in the wintertime. Often it's so hard to spot them because the grass is the same color as the coat. But now, look at how it's contrasting with the green around her. So it's slightly easier to spot her. If she lies down like this, it's hard, of course, but when she keeps her head up, it's easier to see. But you can see how difficult that is, even with the contrast of green around her. You might hear quite a few birds around. I just wanted to be quiet for 10 seconds, and then I just wanted to point out some of the bird calls we are hearing. So you might hear this rattling sound behind us, and that's from a bird called the rattling cisticola. Brown bird, not very colorful, but small and makes a lot of noise. Then there's another bird that went like... It says 3 blind mice. It's a chin spot batis. And then in the distance, you can hear some crested francolin, and then a yellow bill hornbill that's calling. So in the meantime, like Beacon and I are just going to spend a bit more time with this leopard and hopefully see if it will go to the carcass, or it might just be here for the next little while. But apparently there's some lions at Phinda, so let's go and have a look.
Welcome back to And Beyond Phinda, everyone. We've been so lucky this morning, and now we've just come across this pride of lions just resting here right outside the mountain lodge, which is quite scary, but also quite cool. Look at that lioness that's closest to us. She's the older lioness in this pride. You can see she's just got her focus on something. Something just caught her attention, but now, nice big yawn. If you look at her belly, it's not quite as full as the cub's belly, so I would imagine possibly they caught something small last night, and the lionesses would have let the cubs just feed before they did. So I'm sure if they did come across anything this morning, while it's still quite cool, they might try their luck. It is quite a good area for Nyala. It's quite a thick area, but they are looking quite restful at the moment. I'm not too sure where that lioness just moved off to. She might have just gone and lay down away from the cubs a bit. If you look at these two cubs now, they're just looking at each other, but with a bit of mischief in their eyes. Maybe the one to the left has just spotted a little crested guinea fowl or something. We heard them calling earlier. But whatever it was, it's lost his attention now. Cleo, good question. So there are 3 prides on Phinda at the moment. This pride, however, has temporarily split up, where 3 of the sub-adults have gone off on their own for a while, and they actually haven't been seen with these 2 older lionesses for quite a while now. So it'd be interesting to see if they do rejoin or if they form now another pride. See the second lioness just getting up and moving off there now as well. I'm sure if those lionesses had to move off too far, the cubs would either follow them, or if those pairs decided to hunt, they would probably stay in an area quite similar to this. They wouldn't be taking part in any hunts just yet. They'd just be taking notes, watching what moms are up to. But we're going to sit here a while and see what they get up to. Seems like they are quite tired. Maybe they had quite a long walk last night, but we're going to send you back to Andrew with his leopard.
Thanks, mate. Now we got a present of a hyena that have come to this position. And it's looking up in this carcass over there. But a hyena that cannot climb trees, so it's all okay. She don't even bother actually about that hyena because the meat is up in trees right now. It's all safe. It's hanging comfortably. And there's no chance it's gonna fall down. Unless if it's get disturbed. If she's gonna forget about that meat right now, she move away. Presence of only eagles, those butler eagles, tawny eagles, if they ever spot that, they'll probably going to feed and not remain. And it's still cloudy, so, and where the meat is actually well hiding in there. So it's not going to be easy for any bird of prey to spot it. And it's not an open sky where these bird of prey, they only pick up the thermos when it's an open sky, fly around, circle around. That's how they hunt. But it's covered with cloud over here. It's heavily clouded. Only greater condition for cats most. So once this is done, when she move out of here, it happens she will kill another one, or she will go a few days without a meal. Until she get a proper kill, maybe in a few days later on, or could be very quick, depend on where she goes and how lucky she are. And they also have a good hearing, so if it's any movement that takes place around here from distances, she will probably gonna hear it. And she will be looking for it, look around. She will be worried so much if lions get into this position because they can climb trees as well. So what she could do, she would maybe climb up higher to these very prehensile, thin branches to the top where lions cannot get up further than that. So I might actually have to make space for the other vehicle that are coming in here at the same time. But let me send you over to Lauren.
I wonder which hyena it is. Yesterday, Sibue got very angry at Sutu and launched at her. I wonder if Sutu's came back for more. More waiting around, hoping gravity will take place. Now, we're going to leave the den shortly. I just wanted to give you one last sort of update. Swazi's got very relaxed, comfortable, and he's now sort of sleeping as any of the females would at the den entrance. You can actually barely see him. He's calmed down and he'll be in big trouble if June or Ribbon comes. But for now, he's quite happy. Sleeping there. I haven't seen the little head pop up in a while either. Susabel. Susabel.
Yeah.
There we go. We got there. Susabel is just a general sort of guiding practice across the board. That when there's young cubs, I really personally feel that Ngwazi and Shimbulu would be absolutely fine to spend time with. They are sort of 9 months old now. But there's a very small little cub in there, that one that belongs to June, and it's very, very young. And what practice you don't want to bring about is that when the vehicle's there, or here, you don't want to encourage small little cubs like that to come out because they're very habituated, they're used to seeing the vehicle, and then be at risk, be vulnerable from predators. At least when there's an adult here, like Hart or even Swazi, they're sort of on guard for any threat nearby. Tiny little hyena cubs would be perfect pickings for leopards. I watched Shadulu a few months ago come and stalk the cubs. We were following Shadulu and we just happened to go past his den and there was no adult. She absolutely would go for them, just as any predator would go for any of the offspring of each other. I believe a lion killed one of Imani's cubs up in the Masai Mara recently, which is really sad. And the adults are here to protect. Now, the older cubs have they understand as soon as there's a noise or a smell or something they don't know, there's a little bit of a threat approaching, they run inside the den. But for a cub that's as small as June's little one, it probably hasn't learned those things yet. And it would come out of the den and there could be a predator lurking by. The vehicles don't want to encourage that or be responsible for that. So it's just a sort of good general guiding practice across the border. When there's very small young cubs, not to spend time here, not to encourage them to come out when there's not an adult. It's the same for leopards and lions, wild dog puppies. But I do think, Shimbulu and Ngwazi, they're old enough now to spend time here. But it's just the fact that there's cubs of all ages here. Even Corky's daughter is still quite young. But when there's an adult, at least they're protected. The adults will chase away the threat or be on guard. Okay, so Swazi seems to have gone into a very deep sleep. We are going to leave the den for now and see what else we can find.
There's a grounding earthiness to this place that we feel in our ancestors. It's a place where, believe it or not, we evolved as a human species, and anyone who's come to Africa will understand that. The connectivity that the continent has to the person and to people's souls is next level. I'm thoroughly looking forward to taking you on your next adventure when we explore all the small and big things.
Catch up with the guides daily here on Wild Earth.
An ever-increasing part of the global population is losing its connection with nature. Wild Earth is here to reduce people's stress and anxiety, allowing you to escape into nature even just for a few hours a day. However, Wild Earth is expensive to run, and we need help from you to keep this ship going. Wild Earth Explorers gives you the opportunity to be a part of a program that supports the sharing of nature with the world.
My name is James Hendry, and I work here at Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands on the western fringes of the Greater Kruger National Park. My favorite part of getting questions from viewers is that we get to have long and varied discussions about all sorts of different aspects of nature. Because our audience comes from all over the world, it's very special to have different perspectives from everywhere. If you want to submit a question on Wild Earth, you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to the Live Safari page and submit your question beneath the live feed.
Have you been watching Wild Earth and dreamt of being right there on safari with one of the guides? Well, now you can. Wild Earth is offering you a chance to buy a ticket to dream. You or a friend can hop on board a live Wild Earth show and join our guide on safari. The ticket is redeemable at any of our locations, anytime in the future. Only a limited number of tickets are available, so don't wait. Get your ticket now and start dreaming. Terms and conditions apply.
So this leopard has just moved from where we had it earlier on. Now there were lions not too far from here. We can hear one of the lions were contact calling that ooh, ooh. And after she heard that, she's now starting to move. So I'm just going to try and see if we can move around this bush and see her again. But if not, we'll go to where these lions are. But I don't think they're too far. Maybe because of that, that's why she's moving off. So we'll just carefully scan as we drive to see if there's any lions in the area. So let's see, she was moving up in this direction here. Might be she could move away from that carcass just a slight bit because of the lines we were hearing. and eventually later on she'll come back. So let's just see if we can see her again. I'll just show you, it's quite a thick bush where she's moving in. I can actually see her through here. BK, I don't know if we're going to get a glimpse, but let me stop like that. Brian, to be honest, I think she's round about close to 4 years old, maybe 4.5, roundabout. I'll just have to go and double check, but I know, I haven't been here at Ngala for too long. I haven't really followed this female, but I know it's one of the females from a very relaxed leopard that used to be in this area, and unfortunately passed away because of lions. So she has moved off. Let's going to try and see if we can reposition again. So in other words, just try and see if we can get another view. So hold on. Yeah, I think she just gonna move back a bit. It's really hard to see because she has moved into quite a dense area off to the right here, and we can't really see her. So what I might do is I'm gonna go slightly forward. But in the meantime, while we're gonna try and see if we can giraffe.
Well, welcome back to this side of the world. It sounds like we are having a very catty morning. We are searching for these cheetah tracks and no luck of as yet. But we are going to keep on it until we scratch up something somewhere. We have got another person just helping us out. And hopefully with the extra help we can locate on these beautiful animals. But for now, sitting and enjoying this tall animal is such a treat. Nice big bull. It's just such beautiful light at the moment. It's just almost looks like it's bright. The colors are like more vibrant with this little bit of overcast conditions that we are having. Beautiful. Look at that. Red-crested cormorant singing its heart out behind us. So if you look at the terminology giraffe, it actually stems from another word, but the word translates one which moves gracefully. And you can see the movements as it was just ambling along there. It is just so elegant in its movements. Almost seems effortless in its own form. Beautiful. Shall we move back for us a bit? Okay. Very mature bull. You can see he's been through a few fights. You'll take a look on almost his shoulder section. He's got quite a large, almost looks like calloused piece of skin. Would have been from a heavy blow from an opponent, or it could have been from a tree, but a tree would be a tear. It would be more of a jagged pattern. That's a bit of a blow from a fight somewhere along the line. Lovely. Wow, look at the scenery today. Unbelievable. So we are still continuing north of here. We've done this block over here. We've wrapped right around south, this massive block. And we're looking for any tracks that have moved in or out of here. Nothing as of yet. But with these conditions, those cats might have just decided just to take it easy for this chilly and cool period. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue north, and then we're going to bend back east, and we're going to tighten our search. Myself and Craig did get off the car, and we tried to search for any tracks from last night when the guide was obviously there. We found the guide's tracks, but there was no tracks of these cheetah. And also now with the rain, it makes it, because the cheetah is so light, the rain now has made the particles, the soil particles, sit tighter together. So now with the animal walking, he leaves less of a track, making it a little bit trickier for us. But we nonetheless are going to be successful regardless. We're going to send you off, and we'll see you back this side.
Welcome back, everyone. We're still just sitting here with this pride of lions. You can see two of the lionesses have now moved into the bush just behind where these cubs are. The sun is starting to just protrude through the clouds now, so it is warming up slightly. You can see lazy lions, but look at that beautiful yawn there. I'm sure maybe the cub will go back towards where the parents are. Doing a bit of digging. Yeah, that's quite amazing. So just scraped away the top layer of soil, and now just urinating right there. I wonder if he'll cover it up again. Little flick of sand, but not really, it just moved off. That's quite interesting to see. Bit of affection for mom there. We've been watching that older lioness there on the left. She's been staring up at the tree. Something's got her attention there. I wonder if there might be a snake or a little bird that's flicking around inside there. It's lost her attention now. But I love how inquisitive lions are. Anything can get their attention, and they might try and figure out exactly what it is. But just as quick as they gain that attention, they can lose it as well and just go back to resting. Wonder if this lioness, this young cub closest to us, is going to realize that he's here by himself. So that's a good question. It doesn't seem like it. The way that they rest, they're often dead asleep with no concerns. I guess their fears would be, maybe not a fear, but just more of a respect for bigger animals such as elephants or rhino. They often move out of the way for them. And of course, when these lionesses have young cubs, they obviously are concerned for the safety of their cubs, so they'll try and keep away from male lions that aren't the father of their cubs, and also, of course, other predators or other prides of lions. This cub just doing a little roll around. He might realize soon that he has no siblings close to him and try and move back towards where the rest of them are. There's beautiful spots on the side of his body, just slowly starting to fade as he's increasing with age. A couple of months ago, when they were first born, they would have been covered in these tiny little spots just to help them camouflage in that initial denning period. Another yawn. There we go. Doing a slow stroll towards where the rest of the lions are, or maybe just found a cooler, shadier area. See that lioness in the background now as well. She's still looking up into that tree, trying to figure out what exactly is making all the fuss. I heard earlier you guys were looking at a rattling cisticola. They often do annoy the lions a little bit. They might sit in the tree and just alarm call at them and try and get them away. And often it works. Often the lions will be so irritated by all the noise that they'll move off maybe to another thicket or another bush. All these beautiful bird calls in the background as well. Something's got the lioness's attention. Perhaps they heard an alarm call, or they got the sense of an animal. Look at how that behavior has changed quite drastically. The younger lioness is going to just have a look at what's exactly made the noise. This area is, like I said earlier, a good area for Nyala. We've seen a few warthog around here as well. And these are both prey species for lions. Look at that behavior. Ears forward, both of them as well. So it might be worth if they just carry on going forward in that direction. See how that lioness now at the front is just creeping forward. Can you see their own? She might just be waiting patiently for whatever they've spotted to come a little bit closer. You can imagine there's a lot of cover around here. So it's a great spot for them to ambush something. So lions are very patient hunters, and they're not going to just run at something that they know there isn't a good chance of catching. They've got quite a good ability to tell whether it's worth putting in the effort and using that bit of energy. The older lioness that's just out of frame is just yawning, and that's always a good sign that they might potentially get moving soon. As the clouds start to cover where the sun was pushing through again, it's starting to cool down quite nicely. Marco, I'd definitely say that they are a lot more active in this cooler weather, more overcast, even with a slight drizzle, is really perfect for them to keep quite active. They do tend to be obviously more nocturnal, but in these early hours of the morning, especially with this overcast weather, this is when we often see them most active. See that lioness that we initially thought was quite interesting, something she seems to have lost his attention. Whatever it was might have just moved off and just not been worth further investigation. So we're going to sit here for a while and just see what they were interested in, but we're going to send you off to Andrew, who's also found some lions.
Thanks, Pete. You know, it's about the same here. It's true about lions being in a nocturnal, and also they can move during the day when it's cooler. Of course, moving for them in such a very warm warm weathers, hot days, a lot of a loss of their energy. But here, with this cloud that take place is what we see here. We get a Talamati pride that we mentioned that we're going to go follow up on them since they crossed yesterday afternoon to the south. And then now they're on their way back north. But they're lying right on the border right now. So if they move from here, we're not sure when they're going to move. We're still in the far east border with the southern border and the north. So they came from direction of a Chitwa airstrip. That's where they were seen. Probably they were far from then. It's one of a young male. Looks like a 3 young male in his pride. These they were actually born in his pride, and they are offspring for a Avoca male. Where he's not here, the guys have discovered that. And then he was actually heard calling far south still, so he actually separated right now. And there she comes down. One of the female. Where yesterday they were actually in the wood where we find them. This time they're on the road. This is where it sometimes can be busy road here. It's only access road from this area to the gate, main gate. So they may sometimes be disturbed or will get disturbed though. And to me it looks like they time is still the same as yesterday. Maybe they didn't kill anything, which all the wind and the rain that they had, it's all gone wasted. For them, they didn't actually get any success hunting, killing, or they did hunting it for sure, all the way from the north and this far south. Dear watcher, you're right. It's actually fun how to do that, and all just comfortable there. But I think this is all about the ground. It's wet, but I think it's better than the dew grasses, where then it's so much wet. And when I look at their legs, it also looks like they're not wet. They actually haven't been in the bush. What looks like it. And mainly if they ever walk into these tall grasses, which is wet now, they would be wet legs, but they're not. Probably they've been on the road quite sometimes. But it's funny indeed for the whole pride just lying flat on the road. So for them to reach up north depend, but this is it's going to take maybe 2 days sometimes, or day, because they can still do movement. Yesterday we left them in that wood, but they went across the border, this border, but during the day. So weather cloudy, drizzling. They gain a lot of energy in that. They won't get tired of moving. They, of course, they will move, a few distance and then lie down. And again, move and lie down. But finally, they'll reach far away. And that dark man, since he's not here, he's doing his things out there. But, it is so important he does that because they're dominating in this area. And this is where this female also in this area. So wherever he is right now, how does it matter? Actually, we heard him calling, but we said far away south. And he's still busy scent marking over there. And their scent is going to be washed off if this rain doesn't stop. So it's very important that he has to do that. Walk away from the pride. Maintain his boundary. Marking it off again so the chemicals remain strong. It will be so important for the other line that they don't know in the area that is there, so they will be able to know when they get there. So we're going to stay put here, sending you over to Pinda with a line.
Welcome back, everyone. We've got something quite exciting going on here. These lionesses have left the cubs and are heading straight towards something that we can't really see. It's quite thick to the left of us here. But they're definitely in stalking mode. You can see they're slowly moving. Every footstep is almost quite precise. You see they're just moving behind that thicket now. Yeah, we've actually just lost them for now. I don't want to go too close to them, just to not interfere with what's going on here. But I'm just going to go to the left just to see if we can get another view, even if we just see a glimpse of them. You can see the lioness just through there. I don't know if Owen can see that, but often when lions are hunting and there's just two of them, or even in the whole pride, one lioness might go around and try and flush whatever they're hunting towards the other lioness. It is quite a tough visual at the moment. And I'm not too sure if you can see, but that lioness is looking around the same direction as where that lioness, the younger one, headed off. Yeah, it's quite hard. I don't want to go too much closer, but I'm going to just try to loop around. You got a visual there? Okay, so they seem to have just stopped for now. Maybe whatever they were looking at has moved a little bit. But they're still very focused. It's interesting. So if they were to catch something and it was quite close to where the cubs are, they'd probably just make a little call and the cubs would start running straight towards them. But often they'll have to leave the cubs in quite a safe area and then move vast distances to try and catch some prey. And then if that happens, then they'll move whatever they've caught into a thicket and go back all the way and fetch the cubs and bring them back without even eating any of the meal yet. Seems like their attention has shifted off now. I think the other lioness is just the right hand side that we can't quite see her at the moment. You can hear all the birds, the redback shrikes and puffbacks, all kind of alarm calling at them and warning the other animals around that there are predators here. You hear all those birds going crazy in that tree right above her. Potentially they have a nest around as well, and that's why they're not too happy about having a lion too close there. I know the lion probably won't do anything to the nest, but whatever threat there is around, they won't want close to their nest. So yeah, these lions seem to have lost a bit of interest in whatever they were looking at, but we're still going to stick it out here, stay a while and see what carries out. But we're going to send you off to Lauren, who's got an eagle.
We've came across a brown snake eagle perched right at the very top of this tree here and looking rather wet, shall we say. It's still drizzling here. I think this is a slightly younger one. I don't think it's fully an adult. Maybe it's slightly immature, only just gaining its adult plumage. Oh! And off he goes. You don't normally fly too much brown snake eagles. You will just find them going from tree to tree to tree, looking for prey on the ground. It's very difficult to distinguish between males and females. The females are said to be only 5% larger. So they're larger, but not by much. So you would really have to see the male and female perched together in order to be able to determine between the sexes of brown snake eagles. But they are large, for snake eagles at least. Oh, he's over here, Davy. Okay, so as we bumble in the rain, we are going to send you back across to Ngala with their lions.
So if you just listen now, you'll hear there's some crunching. So this is not the leopard, this is actually a male lion that's stolen the kill from that leopard. Now, could not believe this, so I just wanted BK to move out just so that you can see the tree that this lion is basically under. Now, at the very top, see if you go all the way up to the branch that goes off to the right. So the carcass, impala carcass, was right up there that the leopard hoisted. Yeah. And that male lion climbed the tree all the way onto that branch, grabbed the carcass, dropped it to the ground, and has now gone down. And he's now feeding off of it. You can see there's the claw marks that probably went into the tree. See that a little bit down from there, there's these new patches that came out. You can see it's a different color to the rest. So probably that's where the claws of that lion was tucked in as it was climbing that marula tree. So let's just head back to this lion. You might just hear that crunching noise. So there wasn't a lot left from this impala, so it won't be too long before he finishes it off completely. incredible. I mean, it just shows you, we always talk about when leopards hoist their kills up that high in the tree, that it's actually there so that lions can't get to it. But it just shows you something as big as this lion, which weighs probably close to or over 200 kilograms. It's able to pull itself all the way up to the very top there and drag that carcass off. So it's just incredible what they're capable of doing. So this lion is getting up. Might just be finishing that last part of the impala. Yeah, he's positioned himself so hard, like he's in a really dense area there. Leslie, it looks like it's one of the Ross males. It might be the dark-maned Ross male. I haven't seen too much of the face because he has been in that really dense area, but hopefully if he moves out, I could see a lot of dark in his mane. And there were tracks of a male lion coming into this area that one of the other rangers and trackers spotted. So I'm sure based on the area and of course the territory, this probably would be one of the Ross males and most likely the dark-maned Ross male. Tomorrow, the male lions in general, they'll start from quite a young age. Like, so run about at 8 months old, you'll see a cub with quite a lot of fluff around the neck. But it's still not long enough to clearly or determine that it is a male because of all that fluff. But once they get to 1.5 years, you can clearly see that it's a male, especially because the mane starts growing under the neck the quickest. And then from 4.5 years, it will cover up most of its face, but there'll still be quite a bit of hair lacking at the very top of their head. And so normally from 6.5 onwards is when they'll have a fully developed mane. So that means around the whole face and the neck. So you'll probably start seeing it here from 8 months all the way up to 6.5 years. I mean, with this male, he's over 9 years old. And hence he has such an impressive mane. But there are lions, I mean, like some of the lions or the Kalahari lions, so you'll see sometimes the Tswalu Kalahari, that some of the lions there have often a darker mane, but also a bigger mane. It also depends on the genetics of the males. Some males have a bigger mane than others. It also just depends on that. And I've also seen some males from different prides where the youngsters would probably be the same age, but in some areas the younger males tend to grow quicker mane than the other, and it's probably just based on genetics. But it's not a lot quicker. I mean, we're talking about a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so different in terms of how they grow. We can't see too much. The only thing we can do is just sit and listen to the crunching noise as he's like working his way around that impala. And you can imagine with impala, like comparison to something bigger like a zebra or wildebeest, so he'll probably eat as much as he possibly can. And then whatever's left, maybe there could be 1 or 2 bones. You could just hear that crunching noise. That's what the hyenas will come and finish with. can just see his face with all the blood around his lips. Just fascinated by it all.
Now it's still drizzling down at our end. I've got my hood up. Makes it slightly more comfortable. I was frozen to the bone when I got home last night. Luckily, it's not so cold this morning. There's definitely a difference in temperature, and I'm really hoping that that sun will start to break through at some point. But at least the ground has had enough moisture, and we're still finding lots of animals. Now, just an update on that skittish male yesterday, that young male. He's very, very young. You can tell straight away from his appearance, his size, his genitalia, he's very young. And he had a kill. I found his kill, and it was stashed underneath a juvenile silver cluster leaf, and it was an adult impala. It wasn't a lamb, and I couldn't see whether it was male or female, I'm afraid. I could only see the innards, but still, it was an adult. And he hadn't hoisted it. He'd obviously left it on the ground, and I believe the update was that the hyenas got it. So he lost his kill, but apparently he's seen in that area regularly. He won't be territorial yet. He's definitely not old enough. So I think maybe he's recently dispersed, and he's sort of just always around the western side of Buffelshoek, around Sydney's dam. So I think that's a good place to check. We get signal there to see if we can spot him regularly. He definitely needs to be habituated, or at least start that process while he's young, so he doesn't end up like Mulwati as a skittish adult. But it was so fascinating to see a leopard that we did not recognise, I must say. A young male, and we got good visuals of him, albeit from a distance, but we're still able to clearly see all his features. So hopefully we'll see him again. So I'm going to keep heading west and see what else we can find for this morning.
Thank you very much, Lauren. So we now have to leave from that bride, because then it's a lot of a vehicle there arriving to view that bride, and I have to make space. So actually I won't go too far in case there's a gap for me to return back to that sighting, and just to follow them, see if they would do something while it's still cloud. And that leopard also, I'm not sure how many vehicles there I'm going to find out. Otherwise, if one of the two sighting, if it's free for us to return back in one of those, and that would be really cool. So this is an update from the lines, and then I'm so happy that they're making their way back north, where we can able to find out what they're doing and so on. And we don't have such a buffalo's herd here where they would be behind the herd always, and that will make them move so much, because they when there's a herd of buffaloes move, they behind them. They always have to be behind them, hoping for any limping buffalo, those weakest buffalo that cannot make it, and those will be killed. But since then, we don't have herds for now. We have them, but they're not around. So it's a good thing that, they would be around for us. So let's find out. So what I'm doing, checking around here, I'm going to be sending you over to Tsohalo.
So beautiful. What amazing colors on this gorgeous grasshopper. Very distinctive colors. You can see from the antenna, the colors of the eye, that beautiful shield, which would just be the foremost cover for his wings. You can see the wings set quite far and across the back, and then those very, very strong legs set on the side of this beautiful insect. 3 legs, obviously it is characteristic of an insect. This is an elegant grasshopper. Very beautiful, and they're quite abundant around at the moment. And its distinctive colors makes it unmistakable when it comes to identifying this beautiful individual. You get some individuals that are very cryptically colored, so they blend in with the grains of sand or some with the bark. But this one over here is definitely showing you via its appearance that it's showing that you should be wary. These distinctive black, white, red colors are warning signals, basically, visual warning signals for a potential predator, to show you that I am dangerous or foul tasting. Those colors should always be taken with utmost respect when it comes to seeing and finding new things in the bush. But very beautiful. Still a little bit of growth to do. When it gets a bit older, that color will become fairly drab. It'll almost go like an orangey, dark orangey color when it is a bit older. If you can get a bit closer on his mouth parts, can you see his mouth parts there? I'm going to try and get a little bit closer. If you take a look at the bottom of his head, obviously, if you take a look at insects, their mouth parts are very distinctive functions that are performed by the family. And the family is categorized by these specific mouth parts. And his front right leg is just covering his mouth parts, but they have external mouth parts, and their mouth parts are used for obviously chomping down on vegetation. But yeah, if you take a look at all grasshoppers, they have these external chomping mouth parts used for cropping vegetation, where they can become pests at times. If you take a look at crops, obviously agricultural crops, they can become quite a pest, but doing what they naturally or need to do. But very, very nice. We've come around this corner and seen this beautiful insect. We have found cheetah tracks, but they've gone into a block where Viola, good morning. Are these grasshoppers migratory? No, these guys aren't migratory. From my knowledge, no, not migratory. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing to see, swarms of migratory grasshoppers. But this individual, no. Yo, look at the clouds behind us, quickly. Just want Craig, just to show you folks the landscape. Just going to punch out there and then look at the beautiful scenery we got going along on the mountainside. So we are west of the beautiful Kronenberg mountain range right now. We have found cheetah tracks from last night, so just after the rain we can see the depth and how much the track is in the soil. And we are busy doing one block west to see if we can't pick up on these 2 boys. It is the 2 boys, and hopefully we can strike luck. But yeah, those clouds just making for beautiful sight right now. The sun shining through there on the right hand side. The low-lying clouds moving very quickly. And obviously the backdrop of that Kronenberg range. Keeping things nice and cool, which is very pleasant. Now, if you are used to very hot days, these cool days are really appreciated. We're going to send you off for some cheetah action. Hold on tight.
Welcome back to And Beyond Pinned, everyone. We've just come across these 5 young cheetah, and we heard these impala going crazy, alarm calling, and we carried on and we went around the corner, and these 5 cheetah were busy stalking them, but they've been bust. You can hear these impala on the right hand side all just alarm calling at them. It's not really changing the path that these cheetah are taking, though. Look at the attention that those impala are giving them. All of them facing straight towards the cheetah, not turning their backs. They know they'd rather keep an eye on where the cheetahs are than turn their backs and not know where they are. But quite amazing, there's a wildebeest and giraffe also coming to see what's going on. All attention on these 5 cheetah. Really, really exciting to see though. If we scan back towards where the cheetah are, you can see it hasn't really changed their path too much. They're kind of discussing, trying to see what they should maybe do. They look like they're almost still in a stalking mode, but they're kind of looking around. They know that they've been bussed. It's quite amazing to see. They're carrying on straight towards these impala. So exciting, especially after last night where we saw that caught an impala ram. It's exciting to see that they are developing these hunting skills. It's amazing. I've never seen cheetah hunting in this type of technique or anything. They seem to not be concerned about the alarm calls at all. Seems like the impala figured it out and that their alarm calls aren't working, so they've just decided to run off. How incredible is this though? Oh my word. Now the wildebeest is also alarm calling. I'm sure for a lot of these animals, they haven't ever seen 5 cheetah together like this. And they know that that's quite a threat and quite a force to be reckoned with. Just going to re-angle a little bit as they go behind the bush. Oh, really? Oh, there's an elephant. The big elephant bull to our left as well. It's quite amazing, so much going on right here. Look at this big elephant bull now. He might have spotted the elephants. I'm going to carry on going straight. Nectar, we're going to leave this elephant bull and carry on following these cheetah. So these cheetah will stick together for about 1.5 to 2 years, where at that stage the females will all go their separate ways. Well, they're 2 females, so they'll go their separate ways, and then the 3 males will stick together as a coalition and form a strong bond and probably stick together for the rest of their lives, which is quite amazing. Here they are just resting to the left of this bush. They might just be hiding from the impala now, waiting for them to stop alarm calling. Shelley, cheetah are very endangered, so due to habitat loss and just a loss of territory, They are very endangered, so there are only very few properties left with a healthy cheetah population. And we're very fortunate on and beyond Phinda to have quite a healthy cheetah population, and we know that the genetics here are very, very important to the future of cheetah. So at Phinda we push quite hard in our cheetah conservation, and that's why stories like these 5 are so amazing and so exciting for us here. If you look to the right, there's a whole journey of giraffe that have now come to investigate what's going on as well. Last night we were mentioning how often when giraffe all look in one direction, it's quite often something interesting and worth going to have a look at, and this is just proving that theory right. But if we go back to these cheetah now, you can see they're all looking in different directions, just keeping an eye out for any other potential prey, but also any predators that might be in the area. But we're going to send you off to Andrew, who's with a leopard. Where's that elephant?
Oh, there are two. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. What we got here, we got a Thandi the leopard. How is this beautiful now? So it looks like it's her and the young one. Oh, thank you very much. Now we got a Thandi the leopard with her young one. And from here, it's not actually far away from where Zibui is. Yeah, we copy that. So she's moving away from, looks like she's going to disappear from us. Where she's going, we're just going to see if we can get around, see if we find her again. So it's nice to see Thandi come into this area where it's now Chitwa Dam. We're sitting on a dam wall. And off she goes. So we're going to try see if we can get close to her. But she's going to the deep. We may lose maybe signal there. A little bit of a triple drainage line that will link to that area where she moved into, and there is a water buck. Looks like there's a water buck and a baby that side, and this is where she move into. You're gonna stick around here, see what happened. Maybe she got close to these water buck.
Welcome back, everyone. Such an exciting view here, and such an exciting scene that's going on with these 5 cheetah. They seem to have captivated all the animals' attention. Even in the background, if you look there, you can see 1, 2, 3. Looks like 8 or 9 giraffe also, possibly even more, all looking in this direction as well. Very, very, very exciting. So they seem to have just settled here, waiting for those alarm calls to stop. And I'm sure as they stop, they might try again, might try a different route. But unfortunately, with all these animals around, their chance of actually successfully hunting something is going to be quite low. The 3 of them are resting under the bush while The other two are still quite interested. Seems like one of them is also going to, now both of them are going to retire to the thickets as well. It's amazing to watch them. They seem completely unfazed by all the attention that's on them at the moment. We've seen before how often if there's zebra around with cheetah, they will almost chase the cheetah away and try and get them away from the area that they're in. Giraffes sometimes do it as well, try and herd them into an area that's away from where the rest of the giraffe are. You can imagine a cheetah isn't a threat to a fully grown giraffe. Scotty, you're very right. They are very mischievous. And I love the youth that they have. And you can almost see they're just trying new things. They're exciting. They're taking risks, which seems to be paying off for now. I just really hope that they stay cautious. But they have been doing really, really well to survive this long on their own. You can imagine it hasn't been tough for them. They've had to learn a lot on their own, a lot that their mother would have taught them if she was still around. Look at the one got a bit of a fright with that giraffe approaching now from the back. So Shivas, we have seen it in the past where a male coalition has killed a baby giraffe. It's not very common though. It does happen. Look at these two going back into stalking mode. They're walking right towards those giraffe now. But Shivas, back to your question, I don't think there's a good chance that these five will kill even a small giraffe. They're just still too small. So their perfect or ideal prey size would be an impala, or rather prey species would be a smaller nyala or something. Kim, they are at Indabaan open areas. There's one here. Can you hear those zebra in the background? Really amazing. They seem to be quite keen to keep moving. These impala have stopped alarm calling, but unfortunately the giraffe haven't forgotten about them. They're still keeping an eye on these guys. They're getting quite close to those giraffe now. I wonder the distance that the giraffe will let them get. And they're probably 25 meters away now, and the giraffe haven't budged. Cheetah seem to be moving, creeping closer and closer towards them. I'm sure those impala, we can't see them now, but I'm sure they would have run off and maybe found another open area. Let me have a look with my binoculars. Yeah, no, they're nowhere to be seen. But luckily they did have quite a large meal last night, so they didn't have to feed again this morning. But not being opportunistic. If something did come across their path, they definitely would take the opportunity. The one at the back closer to us getting up quite swiftly there. Just going to re-angle once again. Giraffe getting quite close now. Yeah, these cheetahs are very inquisitive, and it's something that I'm really enjoying about watching them recently. They're so brave. Yeah, it does seem like they're teasing. Maybe they're just stalking, using their skills just for a bit of practice now. Just practicing those different hunting techniques and just getting used to this environment. They have recently come into this area. They haven't been here for a while, so getting to know the lay of the land. Quite beautiful with all these white flowers around. Makes their spot pattern look really, really beautiful. But we're going to send you back to Andrew and see how this turns out. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. So cheetah and a giraffe. It's amazing. And now we're able to come close to these Thandi. Only the cub that we can see right now. We cannot see the mother. I think she's on the other side. It's very difficult to see even other vehicles. Actually, they have to reposition on the far side. There's actually kind of like a trampled drainage line that runs in this area. So we try our best to get in here. Probably come out to the young one, or young one probably ran back to the mother. It's actually not far from where that Sibui is. And they won't know each other, that they close each other so much, unless if they come across each other's scent. Or if she would then smell if there's a carcass back there, which is no chance. It's not actually too smelly that I saw there, since there was not much of a hot take place in that carcass. So it vanished for now, away from us. I'm not sure what they're doing in there, but so I will try and reposition here. While we're doing this, let me send you over to Ntswalo with the jackals.
It looks like this individual is cold. It is fairly chilly. It hasn't warmed up a degree by my standards. And you can see this little jackal. Wow. Finding a bit of shelter behind that little bit of shrubbery there on its right-hand side. So there's one or two other individuals. We saw pups running off. We just disturbed the pups as we came around the corner here. Didn't know they were here. But the adult seems very comfortable with our presence, so we're going to sit tight here and hopefully these young individuals come back. Obviously this is the period where you'd find jackal breeding in a prolific state, when obviously there's more favourable conditions around. It's the best time for you to raise pups. The pups looked fairly young, maybe at about a few months. So fingers crossed they come back in and we can get a little glimpse of them. But a very beautiful scene just with the jackal tucked up there. Nice, beautiful dune bush on the top right-hand corner. It's waving beautifully in the wind. Part of the pea family, very beautiful little species of plant around at the moment. Do you see the other one, Craig? Okay. Brooke, what species of jackal is this? This is the black-backed jackal. East Africa, obviously for folks that have been joining us for a while, our friends in East Africa also have a species of black-backed jackal. This would be the southern individual. I don't know. Yes, this would be the southern individual. There is a species in East Africa that looks similar to this, but this is the one species that we have in South Africa, is the black-backed jackal. A very, very prominent individual, and one that is, by my standings, by far one of the most cunning out in the bush. So very, very brave, and will utilize all types of food items. So the one in East Africa looks very similar. There'd be a slight difference in body coloration and in a bit of weight maybe, but they do look very, very, very similar, but a very cunning and beautiful animal. We're going to hold tight over here and hopefully we can get a view of the pups, but we're going to send you over for some giraffe action.
Welcome back. We've just re-angled now and seen these cheetah from a different angle, and we're trying to almost get the giraffe's perspective. If we just pan out a little bit, we can see we saw about 12 giraffe now just completely focused on these cheetah here. It's something that I've never seen before. I've never seen this many giraffe interested in these cheetah, and they haven't budged. They haven't moved one bit. Really, really fascinating to see. The cheetah obviously know that they've got no chance of catching any of these giraffe. They're all pretty big. But they don't really seem too fazed with all the attention either. They're just minding their own business. This wildebeest, on the other hand, right in front of us, is still alarm calling, but he's not even looking at the cheetah. It's quite interesting. He's looking in the opposite direction. Maybe he's just putting on a brave face, having all these tall friends around. This one giraffe that's just behind this wildebeest looks like it has a bit of an injury.
Checked in the other day. We actually looked at
Yeah.
the same one.
And if these cheetah were fully grown, that would be the kind of target that they would go for. But I think still at this stage, even with an injury and probably quite a bad limp, we haven't seen it moving around, but I'm sure she's got a bad limp. Yeah, even with that injury, these cheetahs still have no chance. You can see a few of these giraffe are getting closer and closer. I'm sure they'll get as close as they can before the cheetah just move off. Maybe get sick of all the attention and rather just be hidden away. There's a few giraffe on the right-hand side, almost looping around as if they were hunting the cheetah. But maybe they're a little bit braver now with such a large group all together. But the cheetah haven't flinched. They're standing their ground. So Neil, when they're in a coalition, they'll hunt together, but it's usually one of the animals that catches it, not like lions where they'll all maybe grab onto the animal at the same time, but they'll definitely help each other. So when one's chasing it and gets a bit tired, the other one might take over. But in the case of these 5 cheetah, they definitely will work together, similar to a pride of lions, and that's why they might be able to take down slightly larger prey, especially when they get a bit older. Whereas a female that'll be on her own won't be able to take down the same kind of size animal. They're almost surrounding these cheetah now. There's a few coming from the right-hand side, looking right close up. These cheetahs don't seem to be intimidated at all, though. It's quite amazing. I wonder if it's because of their lack of experience or just because they feel a little bit safer now that they're in so many of them. I'm just going to move forward a bit. Just try and see if we can get a different angle and see just how close that one giraffe is. It's really, really close at the moment. See, the one cheetah is now moving off. Maybe that giraffe got a little bit too close and the cheetah was probably a little bit too far away from its siblings, so I was keen to move closer and feel a little bit safer. It's a really, really fascinating scenario that's been carried out here. Yeah, it's one, and it's quite an amazing interaction. You can see these giraffes slowly moving in now. It's something that I've never seen before. It's really, really amazing. And it does seem like the giraffe are almost surrounding these cheetah now, coming from all angles. One cheetah just slowly slumping closer. Last night there was a question about whether there was a leader here. It does seem like the one that's standing up at the moment seems to be making most of the decisions in terms of which direction they're heading. You see, he's the one that's standing up, having a look around. So cool to see. Some of these giraffes are starting to lose a little bit of interest now. They know that these cheetah aren't a threat. I wouldn't say in active dominance. I'd say more just there's always a hierarchy in nature. So whether it's elephants that are bigger and stronger than rhino, and rhino will move out of the way for the elephants. I think it's the same situation here where the cheetah are a lot smaller than the giraffe, and they know that they aren't really a threat. So I guess in a way it is dominant, but it's more just a hierarchy that is carried out in nature here. Even though it is predator and prey, often because of the age of these cheetah, they will still be lower on the hierarchy layer than these giraffe. Such an amazing scene here, and we're going to stick around and see how this carries out.
Welcome to my car. This is Wendy, and she's my favorite. She would love to have your name engraved on her so you can be with her every single time she goes on a safari here in Djuma. If you become a Wild Earth Explorer, you will have the opportunity to buy an engraved tag which we will attach to her. We will make sure to send you a digital picture to show you exactly where you are sitting on her. You will have front row seat in every single sighting.
Guys, just watch what's happening. See, watch the elephant, watch the lions. See, the first ones to run are the cubs. I'm not sure how scared you were, but I was quite nervous. But absolutely incredible.
Expect the unexpected here on Wild Earth daily.
Have you been watching Wild Earth and dreamt of being right there on safari with one of the guides? Well, now you can. Wild Earth is offering you a chance to buy a ticket to dream. You or a friend can hop on board a live Wild Earth show and join our guide on safari. The ticket is redeemable at any of our locations, anytime in the future. Only a limited number of tickets are available, so don't wait. Get your ticket now and start dreaming. Terms and conditions apply.
My name is Ross, and I'm a field guide at and Beyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on Wild Earth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
So just to give an idea, we were earlier with one of those Ross males, but unfortunately we couldn't really see him that well, so we went on and decided to go and look for the rest of the pride, and one of the other rangers found the pride, and you can see they are lying down in the riverbed amongst the reeds. And it might be because of the wind being quite strong this morning and a bit of rain that it's nice and just a bit of shelter out of the wind. And you can see a few of looks like young males lying down here. If you just notice next to the one's ear, there's quite a bit of fluff. See this one off to the right? That's possibly because it's a young male. Might also be the one on the left, so we'll only be able to see once they turn around. But I would like Bika just to zoom out a little bit, just to show you the landscape around. So you can see we're right here in the Timbavati River, and there's a reed bed right in the middle. And so the river's running off all the way here as well. And these lions decided to just come and lie down in the middle of the riverbed. And the rest of the pride is just on this side in the reeds, but you can't really see it that well. because of the cover, but let's just give it some time. Hopefully one of them will get up. They are very comfortable at the moment, so it might only be after an hour or two where they eventually decide to get going. I'm just hoping that one of them turns around so we can have a better view of them. But it's so quiet in this riverbed. You can hear the grey-headed bushshrikes, the great-faced asticulus, there's dark-capped bulbils. There's just so many different bird species that are calling here at the moment. And it might be like after spending some time here, we'll try and see if there's maybe another angle to see these lines. We might even give it a go. Well, like we can see these ones. Let's just try and see if we can go around and see if there's maybe more members of the pride. I can see something ahead of us here in the sand, but I'm not too sure what it is. So let's go and have a look. All I'm going to do is just try and move around. So to give you an idea, these lines are right here, but it looks like there's something on this side. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. There's actually some more in the open area, and it looks like the white lines are here as well. I'm going to just try and position so that we can have a view and the bar's not in the way. Okay, there we go. It's so nice to be able to see the pride again, because we haven't seen them for the last few days. Or we saw the youngsters the other day, but we haven't seen the white ones properly on the camera for the last, I think, week, maybe more. So it's so nice to be able to see them here in the riverbed and in the open. And how nice is this to be able to compare the color between the two? You see how much lighter that one is in the back in comparison to the one in front. And because it's overcast, you'll find that these lines don't really need to move anywhere. They had a kill the other day. Safari kitty, they do look very, very peaceful. Like, I don't think they're going to be heading anywhere pretty soon. The only thing is we can just sit here and patiently wait and just see. But like as I mentioned, it is a beautiful scene here in the riverbed, and also like just where we've positioned ourselves now, there's barely any wind, so the wind's probably coming in from the southern part, and there's this bank off to our left, and that's stopping quite a bit of the wind, because you'll see the vegetation around them. It's moving, but it's not as hard as, like, let's say if you had to go more right towards the reed bed. So it's quieter where they are than in comparison to just off to the right, because it forms a channel where the wind will push through. But for now, it is warming up, so they're just enjoying this heat and being out of the wind. You can see how comfortable their ears aren't even moving. Sometimes even if they lie down like that and there are flies around, they'll twitch their ears, but they haven't even moved. Oh, there's the white one that just did that. For now, let's go across to Andrew with some eagles.
Thank you very much. So from Lions, now we have to leave the area of where the Thandi and her cub was, and it was actually also, disappear into a drainage line system, and there's no sign of them coming up there, and then we're gonna have to leave the area. But here we got a Bartolu eagle. It's a beautiful bird. Bartolu eagle. Looks like a pair of them over here. We've seen two of them. They sit actually far apart right now, sitting on a marula tree. Actually looks like the sun is coming up a bit. Yeah. So this warm condition is going to take place And most of these raptor bird, they were able to fly, do their hunt by hunting far up in the sky, circle around, pick up some thermos. But this specific eagle that we're looking at now, the short-tailed eagle, even called at Bartolea, they actually hunt for their own, catch up most birds such as hornbills, rollers, starlings, francolins, small mammals. But you often see them in pair, male and female. Where they tend to breed throughout the year, some area. But some area, it's picking from January to March, where the nesting take place from there. They often lay one egg. Clutch one egg's incubation for about 59 days, so it's quite a lot of days. So they very much hunter, they're good hunter, they're the first eagle. Wherever there's a kill, you mostly see them. And also there's another eagle, tawny eagle. Once you see these two eagles, then you know something definitely must be the reason they're around. So they're one of the scavengers, feed most on remain of the carcasses, or kill for their own food.
What is your favorite eagle,
Fiona, you want to know what is my favorite eagle? So my favorite eagle, it's Marshall eagle. It's actually one of the biggest eagle here we get. And that one, they are huge when you look at them. You would think of crowned eagle or balded eagle out there. They're so big and they will be able to prey on such anything from baby antelopes and monkeys, those baby baboons, guinea fowls and a lizard, there's water monitor lizard and rock monitor lizard. And they're good at it. And they also, they have been seen actually preying on most of the geese. He's trying to bite on the wood. It's probably because they've been around here for probably the whole this cloudy. And we're looking at the male. So it is actually to distinguish the difference between the male and the female on these eagles, where females, you have a lot of white, even though his wings are folded up, but you still see a lot of white almost to the edge, and then slightly of the black that take places on the end of these wings, even they're perched. So this there, it's a male with a lot of black. And we're also looking at the fully grown bird, where when they're younger, they're actually, brown. You won't even knew that there is a Bartolea. You would think of, maybe you look at the maybe tawny eagles or those type. And they only change color as they grow up, age from 6.5, 7 years, and it changed to a normal adult color, which this is an adult color that we're looking at. So they also have very short tail, which is sometimes they find very difficult to fly in the windy. They can't balance very well. They because of the short tail they have. I'm not sure. Could be this is one of the nest material, because it seems to be he's got a kind of like a piece of branches on its beak. Fly downwards. So it's probably some nesting material that is taking place in this area. And sometimes you do find them on this watering hole, the small one, the pans, where they drink most during the day. And they sometimes got enough inside, but then he says, well, most birds, they can actually kind of like get their feather wet in the water when they get out. It's where they check all their body. It's all about getting all the parasites in those wings clean again. And after that, they do preen themselves just to reposition their wings. So they have a wingspan of 177 centimeter. They weigh 24 kg, so they're actually slightly heavy bird. Or 2.4 kg, not 24, 2.4 kg. So I'm not sure where this is happening. So they may fly. Doesn't matter how far they got to go, but you know, this is how they collect their wood, sort of a twigs back to the nest. So I'm gonna move westwards around here, checking along the boundary. I'm sending you over to Ngala with a line.
So these lions haven't really moved at all. They haven't even picked up their heads. And it might be just because, I mean, the conditions are right. It is nice and cool this morning. And often with lions in the heat of the day, they'll move into shade for some cover. But for now, because it's overcast, it's slowly starting to warm up. It's not too cold. It's not too warm. And so because of that, it's ideal. I mean, the sand is a lot softer. It's not as wet as the grass around them, or even the reeds. And so these ones are probably going to be here for the next little while. And I think, look at this one, might be dreaming. See the back feet moving and the front feet. She's just stopped now, but it's really interesting to watch. I've seen that before quite a few times with lions, is where they fast asleep. You can hear them snoring, and the next moment they start running as if probably dreaming of catching something or chasing something. And also with some of the lionesses at the moment, is we do think there are some younger cubs, and we know from what we've seen before and that we've gotten cameras that there are some young cubs around at the moment. And the last time they were seen was not too far away from here, so the chances are that the pride are probably going to hang around in this area. They've had a kudu, like over the last 2 days, a big male kudu that they've caught and they fed on. And there's also water in the area, so there's no need for them to really move far off. So they'll conserve as much energy as they possibly can. And if there's, of course, an opportunity that presents itself, they'll try and hunt again, because altogether there's almost 18 lions in this pride, so they need to hunt quite regularly in order to look after all these mouths. So you can imagine how hard it must be for some of these females that mainly do the hunting in order to provide for so many lions. So the rain that's dropping now, and see the white female in the back. You'll see like it's moving its ears quite a bit, and that's because of the raindrops that are falling onto her ear. But in the meantime, let's head across to Lauren.
Well, we've come across a predator of our own. Maybe not with spots, but definitely a predator all the same. The birds don't seem to want to cooperate with me. I think it was the Wahlbergs. I think it was a female. Excuse our rain pole. Our rain roof pole. Andrew's had a busy morning hopping around the predators. Us, not so much. But if this is the female that belongs to the Wahlbergs nest pair, I really don't believe they've been successful. There's 2 pairs of Wahlbergs that we know of that return here every year. They're monogamous. Oh, baboons. Can you see? It's just climbed that marula tree there, Davy. Uh-huh. I wonder if that's what the squirrels were upset at. We could hear very upset squirrels. Could potentially be the baboons. Uh-huh. If you look at them on the grass, you can hardly see them. Well, you can actually. Maybe it's just because I'm relatively short, but they do blend in very, very well because the grass is so long these days. We've been seeing a lot of baboons up in Buffelshoek, but we're here on Djuma. So this must be the troop that enjoys spending time around the dam cam, causing havoc. Baboons are actually very good at alarm calling for predators. They've got quite an unusual alarm call. Can you do it, Davy?
Whoa!
Oh, that was, maybe you should not go on that. Maybe we should let the baboons show us. But they really do alarm call. They do not like to see the predators because, of course, leopards, possibly lions and hyenas. Eagles, large eagles, are all predators of baboons, especially the younger ones. Because they've got such a broad diet, they can really be found anywhere on the reserve. Around water bodies, around small areas of civilization, just walking through the long grass like this. Luke, great question, and thankfully not. I'm just going to tell you the story because it's rather entertaining. Davy was working at Swallow, as many of you know, so I was taking a selfie to send him so he doesn't forget what my face looks like. And when I looked at the photo I'd just taken, there is a monkey in the background, a vervet monkey that I was not aware was there. It snuck into my bedroom and was ready to raise, and I caught it by taking a photo. Rather entertaining photo. However, the vervet monkeys get in. They will climb in through the windows. They will even try to open doors. But baboons, we are lucky that they don't. Why do I say that? Look, baboons could cause a lot of damage. They are large, much larger than the vervet monkeys. And if even just 1 or 2 of them got into your bedroom, they would do so much damage. And if you end up walking into that bedroom, not even realizing they're there, they could be very aggressive. They could really hurt you. They've got huge canines, and they're very powerful animals. So thankfully not. But the vervet monkeys are, well, that's a different scenario. The vervet monkeys have mapped out our entire kitchen in their head. So the minute someone is not looking, they know exactly where to go and exactly where the bananas are. But the chacma baboons, they're gorgeous, but they really could cause a lot of damage if they came into camp. What a lucky moment. We just stopped to admire the Wahlbergs, and we've got quite a relaxed sighting of the baboons. Sometimes they run away when the cars approach. I think they're feeding on the grass here. Or it could be insects clinging onto the grass. They've only really got 3 priorities in a day, baboons. Find food and water, of course. Play. That includes grooming. And avoid predators. That's it. That's your daily schedule. Eat, enjoy, and avoid. Okay, I think we may sit here a little bit longer with these baboons and see what they get up to.
Thank you very much, Lauren. So we're now searching around for anything we're going to find. There's been a lot of elephant tracks around here. And probably last night, all you see is the dungs along the road and where they've been playing on some of the very soft soil where it's wet enough for them to create their own puddle of water. But there's no visual of them right now, so we're just going to check a few roads because sometimes it can be very static for a long time in one place. Unless if they started to move in and out or make noises, then you'll know exactly where they are. And wherever they are, it's probably maybe decent herd because there's been a lot of flattened grasses or bushes been disturbed, grounds where they've been playing in a very soft sand. So I'm probably going to check also one of the water holes. You never know, it will surprise you. Visit this water hole even though it's wet enough for them to carry on. We get luck. I'm not sure where the climber is right now. So if she showed up or we find the tracks of her, and we stick to the track, then we've got a sighting happening in Djuma. So let's find out if we succeed on looking around.
Welcome back to And Beyond Pindo, where we have just come across this herd of elephants, which looks like quite a small herd for now, but we can hear some more elephants just to the right-hand side as well, and also still coming from the left. If you look at that one female right in front of us, she's throwing some beautiful red dust all over herself. You can see she's been throwing on her back as well. If we look carefully, she might even kick up some of the dust with her foot, loosen it a bit, and then throw it over her head again. There's quite a young calf just to the right of her as well. There's one elephant coming from the left now with some what we call wild grape, but it's got another name called elephant pudding because they really, really enjoy it. You can see the one elephant's actually trying to steal some out of the other one's mouth. These elephants seem to have just congregated in this area. Can't quite understand what it is. They all just seem to be standing dead still. It is maybe that there's a lot of that nice red sand around, which a lot of them have been throwing on their backs. It's really exciting to see elephants in the south of the reserve. where we're situated at the moment, the big herds like this don't often come to this area, so it's quite exciting to see them here. Vola, that's a hard question to answer. They like both of them. The marula fruit is quite seasonal, so only it ripens towards the end of summer, whereas the elephant pudding is all year round. So I'm sure when there is a lot of marula fruit around, then they would maybe go towards that first, but it's very, very tough to say. I don't know if you guys saw, just as I was answering that question, we could see that large female kicking up the dust there, like I'd mentioned. See her just resting her trunk now on the ground. Just going to re-angle a little bit. I can see some more elephants approaching from the right-hand side, and I don't want them to get too close to us. Yeah, there's one right in front of us as well, but at least there's quite a thick bush between us and them. See that young one just between the two that have locked horns there, locked tusks rather. There's another young one just coming through now, much smaller. Look at them play fighting there, wrapping their trunks around each other. Oh, there goes some elephant pudding. But we're going to send you off back to Lauren with those baboons while we sit here for a while.
The baboons still have us surrounded. They're very relaxed, just foraging through the long grass. There's females, there's males, there's larger males, which are most likely the dominant ones. There's small little young ones. Now, baboon offspring are born very altricial, and they cling to mother for the first 5 weeks. So for the first 5 weeks of their life, they will not leave mom. Normally, they sort of cling onto her underside, her belly, and they pretty much got milk on tap, really. And it's only after the 5-week mark that you'll start to see them walking. They'll still stay very close to mom, but they'll start to walk on their own sort of 4 feet, if you like, and become a little bit more mobile. Now, once they decide that they're too tired and they no longer want to walk, they'll sort of jump up on mum's back for a piggyback ride. They're too big to fit under the tummy. I'm sure they try, but it won't work. So that's when they start to jump on mum's back. And they'll get a piggyback ride across the landscape. Now, Davy didn't exactly do a great job of their vocalizations, but on that, they are very vocal animals. So they're highly visual, but they also communicate through vocalizations. They've got a huge range from screams, barking, squeals, chattering, and all of these different vocalizations have meanings. So they've almost got a vocabulary, if you like. And apart from the obvious alarm calls, which is there to warn each other of danger and predators approaching, they will also demonstrate their mood to one another through vocalizations. They'll also communicate when foraging, if they find something delicious that they can share, or just to maintain contact so that the troop itself doesn't split or they don't lose one another. But because they're highly visual, they can also read and understand one another through facial expressions, using their lips and their eyebrows. I think they're moving behind us now. I wonder if we can just reposition and hopefully they won't walk away. How's this, Davy? There's one sitting up in this, I think it's a cluster leaf over there. So yes, just like humans, we're highly visual. We read one another's body language and facial expressions. They're exactly the same. Oh, there you go. Can you hear them? They're running behind us now. Look at the impala watching them coming. We had a lovely sighting the other day with baboons and impala. And I believe there have been records of baboons actually killing impala lambs. I've never seen it, but apparently it does happen. But this male, this ram, looks unfazed by their presence. So I think I'm going to bumble around the rest of this area, see what else I can find, and we're going to send you guys down to Swallow.
All right, striding across the landscape of Tswalu, sometimes you have to work really hard to find certain creatures, and sometimes they are so large you don't have to work hard at all. We have just come across this beautiful and very large species of moth. Can I jump in there? Very large. I just want to just hold it so you folks don't get a bit seasick. This very large species of moth that we've come across. Look at the size of this thing, folks. Very beautiful. I'm just holding it so that Craig can get us a good shot on this beautiful species of moth. So moths typically nocturnally flying. Wings are open when they're resting. They have hairy antennae in comparison to a butterfly, normally daytime flying. Antennae are clubbed and then the wings are closed when at rest. This is a very beautiful species and very large. You can see in comparison to the size of my hand that this is a large moth, almost large enough to attack me. It's big, beautiful circles. Those are false eyes. Those are there to trick and fool a predator, to food it that it is being watched with these very large owl-like eyes. False eyes, very, very common within the animal kingdom, and something that is very useful when it comes to evading hungry tummies. So this is a species of emperor moth. I'm just going to turn it around because we have the luxury of seeing the underside. You don't normally get to see the undersides of moths and butterflies, but now that it's just resting over here, look how large the abdomen is. It is a giant moth. So emperor moths, if you look at emperor moths, a very diverse species, or group of moths itself, sorry, and it actually contains one of the largest moths in the world. In South Africa, our largest species of emperor moth would attain a length or width of about 180 millimeters, which is fairly large. And there's a few different species in South Africa, but these guys, the most incredible thing about these moths, you are seeing an insect that has emerged and is only very, very short-lived. If you take a look at these individuals, when they emerge as adults out of their cocoons, they have about 3 to 5 days of a lifespan. So 3 to 5 days, they find a mate, they lay eggs, and then they die. As adults, they do not feed, which is quite incredible to think about. Now we are looking at this individual, and it is within a very short window that we are having the luxury of seeing this beautiful moth. So with these moths, if you take a look over here, you can see the wing is kind of curled. You'll see that a lot of the species, you have this end part at the end of the wing coming out and being almost hook-like. This is not so prominent on this individual, but you have some of them like the lunar moths and a few other individuals that have very, very, very hook-like wings. And if I turn it very carefully, you can see his antennae over here, which are very distinctive as well. Let me just, I want him to fly. Yeah, I think that's good for you, Craig. So you can see from the size of this moth that the caterpillar will also be ginormous, eating whatever is available for it. The larval stage of these moths are still very, very understudied. We really don't know a lot about their larval stage and their food sources. Like we spoke about butterflies a couple of weeks ago, that, you know, with moths and butterflies, they have very distinctive larval food sources that they utilize. And we are still trying to understand the very nitty-gritty stuff about these beautiful and misunderstood creatures. But how incredible is that? Very distinctive little black spots over here on the secondary wings. And you'll see that first wing, you can still see the circle being presented on the underside of the first wing. Unbelievable. Amazing. Well, so just driving by and seeing something like it, okay, I'm just going to let it go there now. Driving by and seeing something so spectacular is such a treat, and I thought, myself and Craig said we have to find a way on how we can show you guys this wonderful species. Oh, it's just adjusting. Here we go. Fantastic. All right, for now we're going to send you off to Phinda with some elephants.
Welcome back to And Beyond Phinda. We are still with this herd of elephants, but they're slowly moving down the road now. Kind of in a southerly direction. There's a little bit of water and a river actually in the same direction that they're heading in. See this bull over here slowly just trailing the herd that have kind of gone in front of him now. As he opens his ears like that, look at those, all those veins behind his ears. Really, really close to the surface. And on a hot day like this today, the sun's coming out now and it's really starting to heat up. Those ears will start flapping slowly, and that'll just help him cool down his body. All the blood that's close to the surface of the skin there, in those veins will be cooled by flapping and then be passed around the body, almost like a radiator. On really hot days, you'll see those veins look extra big. This bull just discovered some little shrub there with his foot, and now his trunk's inspecting it, trying to figure out whether it'll be nice to eat or not. See him just using his foot there, trying to get those roots out now, wrapping his trunk right around that bush, and using both his leg and his trunk together quite nicely to try and get that little shrub out. You can imagine roots have a lot of nutrients as well, so they don't want to waste any of that little shrub. Scotty, they're more nails, so they've got 4 nails at the front, and yeah, they're technically an ungulate, but it looks more like a nail than a hoof. You can see him slowly just feeding on that little shrub that he's managed to rip out. It always amazes me that their trunks don't get punctured by those thorns, because that was quite a thorny little bush that he pulled out. And it's just, yeah, they've got really, really thick skin, and yeah, don't really mind the thorns too much. I have seen one before stand on a thorn and try and pull it out of this trunk, but I'm sure it didn't protrude too deep. Slowly moving his tail from side to side. Maybe as it's heating up, there are a lot of flies that are around now as well that might just be annoying him. That big thick hair on the end of his tail, really good fly swatter as well. Look at him using that 1 foot, not sure if you can see from that angle, just to push down the bush and to try and get to the main part that he could rip off with his trunk. When you go forward a little bit, you might get to see that. So he's just going to sit here for a little while with his herd and see what they get up to.
My name is Taylor McCurdy and I work for Eco Training. I love hearing from all of the viewers. However, I particularly enjoy those of you who have been watching for a few years. Your questions are just so advanced and they really get me thinking. If you'd like to ask a question on Wild Earth, you need to register on our website. Once you've done that, head to the Live Safari page and submit your questions below the live feed.
For the month of January 2021, we are offering a chance to win a unique Wild Earth expedition to the magnificent Tswalu Kalahari. From the ancient Kortai's Koranenberg Mountains to the southern Kalahari's red sand dunes, Tswalu offers what travelers crave most: space and time. The winner will explore this landscape in a vehicle, on foot, or on horseback, with a chance to go behind the scenes with Wild Earth and of course meet the meerkats. The prize includes a 3-night stay for you and a friend at the luxury Motse Lodge, including flights from either Johannesburg or Cape Town. Open to all Wild Earth explorers who have signed up before the end of January 2021. Terms and conditions apply.
What makes Anbionpinde Private Game Reserve so special is our massive array of habitats. And with that comes, of course, a beautiful diversity of landscapes, but also an incredible biodiversity in terms of plants, bird life and animal life, as well as, of course, our conservation success stories with cheetah, with rhinos, now with pangolins too.
Catch up with the guides daily here on Wild Earth.
Thank you very much. So now, there's another leopard over here. Looks like this is a Talamba now, our princess. And on front of her, it looks like a bit of a meat. Can't just see it clearly, but she's got a kill there. And just on the other side of these bushes, it's actually very difficult there with this wood or branches, but she's there. And it's amazing, you know. Actually, Simon spotted, was actually a morning leopard today. She's actually full belly as well. She's probably been here for quite some time. Maybe since yesterday, nobody drove in this road over here. Or maybe she was on the ground, it happens. And when the hyena den is not far away, and probably the smell didn't travel so far away. It's probably one of those young impalas she got. But she's so peaceful there, and it's kind of like not easy for her to be there. That branches she's at, it looks like it's not actually suiting her very nice to pose comfortably. But she tried her best. See how she positioned her legs. So she might sometimes change position every now and then, or go to feed whenever she feels hungry. So 15, you're right, it's been actually fantastic. It's where's the morning a cat's drive, you're right. Started from the leopard and the lions, and another leopard with a baby, and another lumber, the leopard again. So it's been a morning, a leopard, you're right. Which is always, never get tired of watching cats. They're so beautiful. And when you see two, sometimes even one, that it counts, because so much difficult sometimes to find them, especially leopards, where they spend a lot of time in thicket. Some places where they spend times you can't get in, but they're there. So we saw her mother this morning, that at Thandi. So Tlalampa is actually on her territory right now, which is on Filmonsdiep. It's just the South Quarantine there. This is where she operates and move in and out. Sometimes she would shift further north into Bebelesuk, come back this area, check, reactivate her trail scent marking over the border between her and the Shidulu, the shared border between. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this morning. We're coming to the end of the show, and hope to see you again this afternoon at 1600 Central African time. Goodbye.
Live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve in the